Some of the characteristics I look for in a person once I've decided that I think that they're a good candidate for a supervisor is, number one, do they have personal skills that will allow them to work with a crew or as they're supervising people, and that's a wide range. They could be a totalitarian where they're just, it's my way or the highway, and they're swinging a heavy hammer all the time, but the way they do that gets results. It can be in such a fashion where they're a little bit more flowery about it, and they get on the level with everybody. Maybe they're kind of like everybody's buddy, and yet at the same time, by doing that, they've earned the group's respect.
Mostly supervising is figuring out how to manage people and being able to get a message across to people so they know that what you're saying holds some water to it, you know, and it's not just air. A lot of people talk too much, don't listen enough, and I think those are all really important things. I think it's important to also get to know your crew a little bit on a personal level, so as you know if something's bothering them. A lot of people can't read that. They don't know the people that well. And also understand that different people have different personalities, and that's just the way it is. And you kind of got to figure out how that works and work different crew people together. Sometimes you get two guys, and especially in a falling crew, who can't work together. Don't fight it. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your time, waste of their time. Separate them, put them with two other people who they can work with. It's just not worth the effort.
Some of the skills that I feel make me a good supervisor and or project manager is experience, because I've been in the industry so long and I've seen a lot of things, and I always remembered what I enjoyed, you know, was a supervisor that I had. They were fairly casual, happy people, gave you the what for if things weren't going well, but then, you know, in the end, we're still all friends, having a good time, doing our jobs, and I think that makes me a good supervisor. And just learning to be organized, staying on top of things, asking questions, making sure you're doing what the client wants you to do, and then passing that forward to your supervisors or your planters.
I admire people who share their knowledge and their experience in all aspects of life, not just fallen trees.
I think what makes me an effective supervisor is that I respect whomever I'm supervising, the contractor or their technologist or technical staff, and I always have, I call it an open door policy, or like a two-way street, where from the very startup of the contract or the pre-work, I try to elicit a two-way communication with the contractor such that any kind of hazard identification or close call incident or EMS reporting gets told to me and vice versa, and that I liaise with the client, and that there's just a lot of communication and two-way communication between myself and the contractor. That's kind of what makes me an effective supervisor.
Supervisors have a really important role in establishing a safety culture. They're actually the key people, because if you don't do it as a supervisor, your staff aren't going to do it either. And that's really important, and that's one thing that we actually do have that's really strong in BCTS, is you won't see any of our supervisors without their protective equipment on, and they always talk about safety, and they always inform the staff that it is really important. And what that message is out is that it's important to them as far as the business goes, but we as people are very important to them. They want us to maintain a safe environment. And so if your crew are important to you, your staff are important to you, then you emulate safety and let them know that it's important to them and they must follow it.
Supervisor characteristics. Key points is you really have to know your people. You're dealing with human nature, right? If we were all the same, life would be easy. It'd also be very boring. You have to understand, you know, what makes people tick, what pushes their buttons, what doesn't, because there's times when you want to get their adrenaline going, there's times you want to work with them. So you just really have to understand that. You've got to be, I guess, again, go back to the human nature part. You got to be being yourself. Like, there's times when you have to come down with a hammer, and there's times you have to coach your people and work with them. The hammer part, you don't want to be using that too much, because if it gets used overused, it will be ineffective.